The dashboard is customizable based on user as well as based on account. So you can pull in whatever information makes sense to your business or the things that you want to take a look at. Each of these white boxes is a widget within this dashboard. You can customize those widgets and use things that are custom to your business, built based on a report that you might have built within Mautic. Or you can use some of the out-of-the-box widgets like this total visits or all contacts. This particular dashboard has a number of different charts and graphs in it. And as I scroll down here, you can see that there's different pieces of information. All of these can be pulled onto the dashboard or off of the dashboard depending on what are the types of things that you want to take a look at. This particular Mautic account is a demo account, so there isn't a lot of data in here. However, when you have a full production account of Mautic, you would see a lot more information, and these charts and graphs would look a lot richer. The second section here is the contact section. So Mautic does have full contact management. Contacts can be added to Mautic through a number of different ways. You can use Mautic forms embedded on a Mautic landing page or on your website. Mautic does have out-of-the-box native plugins for things like WordPress, Drupal, and a number of other CMS platforms. But even if you don't have one of those platforms with a plugin, you can still embed a Mautic form on your site. Other ways that you can get contacts into the Mautic platform are through a native plugin with some of the CRM vendors like Salesforce, Sugar, and a number of others. And you can see our full list of integrations on our website at Mautic.com. You can also add contacts through the Open and Flexible API, and you can add contacts through a CSV import. When you import or create a contact in Mautic, you do have some standard fields that are available as part of the out-of-the-box solution. So things like first name, last name, company, email, those are all core and standard fields within the platform. You also have the ability to add as many custom fields as you need to or want to. So if there are things that you're collecting in your CRM in some sort of customer database, whether that's something that you've purchased or something that you've built homegrown, information that you're collecting through a form on the website, like qualifying questions, all of that information can be mapped into the Mautic platform into these custom fields. As I scroll down here, you can see that this particular account has a lot of custom fields. There are no limits to the number of custom fields that you can add to a contact or a company record. At the bottom here on the contact record is the contact history. If you're using the Mautic tracking pixel on your website, and you can use that tracking pixel on one web property, one domain, or multiple domains. So if you have a main company domain or a main organizational domain, and you have sister properties, things that might be marketing websites or product websites, you would be able to apply that Mautic tracking pixel to all of those web properties and collect information on your users as they're moving and through those different websites. All of that information is collected, so Mautic does capture information on unknown visitors as well as known visitors. Once an unknown visitor becomes a known visitor, all of the information that had been tracked prior to that point in time would be added to the contact record, as well as anything new that person does on your website or within your brand. So you can see here on this contact record, there's a number of page hits that are included. Everything from page hits to emails open to forms submitted, assets downloaded, and you can even see here that we've collected video information. So this person viewed the video on the website. You can see how long they viewed it for, how they got there, those types of things. Each of these toggles to the left will give you much more detailed information on what exactly they did. Everything, even including things like what type of browser they're using, as well as what device they're visiting your site on. This information is available in the contact record in Mautic. It can be mapped to your Salesforce records as well. So if your sales team relies on contact history information as they're following up and having conversations with your audience, you would be able to have that information available in Salesforce. You can also extract this information through the API. So if you wanted to do detailed business analytics reporting through tools like a Domo or a Good Data or other analytics tools at Tableau, you would be able to use the API to pull this information out and run those types of reports outside of Mautic, in addition to running reports within Mautic. The next section here is the company section. So this is something that's a little bit unique to Mautic in that the contacts record is separated from the company's record. And what that really means is you can start to build relationships between the data in each of those sections or each of those categories. So if we look at this particular company here, Acme Corp, you can see over to the right, there's 3 contacts associated with this company. When I click on that button, these are the 3 contacts that are part of Acme Corp. You'll also notice that there's points for these individuals. Mautic does have full point scoring or lead scoring within the platform, so you can start to build qualifying information or capture qualifying information about your individuals within your contact database. Each of these individuals has their own set of points, and then if we go back to that company, what you're going to see actually is that aggregate score of those individuals for that company, Acme Corp. What this really means for you as an end user is it allows you to start to understand how active contacts are at individual companies. And so if your team works is building ABM campaigns or account-based marketing initiatives, you can start to understand which of these companies on your target account list have active contacts. And if they're not active, you can build marketing campaigns or marketing programs that will target those individuals as part of that company directly. Or if you see that they're really active, you can notify your sales team and say, hey, Acme Corp has become really active in the last week or last few days. You make sure you follow up with them. It looks like they're interested in moving forward and having additional conversations. So it does allow you to build in ABM programs in addition to the typical programs that you might run. The next section here is segmentation. So segmentation allows you to start to build target lists of contacts in your database. When I click on this particular segment and I click on edit, what you're going to see first off is that there's a couple of filters for this segment. So segments can be built as dynamic segments or static segments. When you use filters like these, it creates a dynamic segment in that anybody who meets this criteria today would automatically be added to this segment, and anybody who no longer meets this criteria would automatically be removed. So if today I'm asking for anybody whose lead status equals nurture, whose date identified, which is the same thing as date created, is greater than January 1st of this year, anybody who meets this criteria would be added. If there's individuals in this segment whose lead status changes to opportunity, they would automatically be removed. There's no need to refresh that segment or change that segment or update that segment. It would happen automatically. So as you're thinking about different groups of people that you want to set nurturing campaigns or build automated campaigns for, you would be able to set this segment, and anybody new who's added to the segment would then continue on into the campaign it's associated with. You do have the ability to filter on any data value that you're collecting on the contact or company record. That includes all the standard fields as well as any custom field that you might be capturing. So if you're mapping things from your website that are qualifying questions, for example, we ask if you're using marketing automation today, I could use that as a filter within my segment. That also includes any information you might be collecting in your CRM. So for example, if you're mapping some sort of lead status from your CRM back to Mautic, you would be able to filter on that. You can also filter off of some behavior information. So if there's something where you wanted to say lead status equals nurture, date identified as greater than January 1st of this year, and they also opened the last email we sent them, you can build a segment based on that. Things like page visits, videos viewed, all of that is available as part of that segmentation. You would also be able to create a static segment. So a static segment really is just allowing you to put a group of people into a segment that you would have to manually remove or use a campaign to remove. So let's say you went to a trade show last week, you came back with a list of leads that you had scanned while you were there. You can put all those people into a static segment so that they stay there, and unless you run a campaign that says remove these people from the segment, or you go in and manually remove them, they would stay there. And no other additional contacts would be added to that segment unless you took an action to do so. The next section here is the campaign builder, or the campaign section. So campaigns in Mautic allow you to do a couple of different things. They allow you to set operational tasks as well as send communications. What you'll first notice as we go into this campaign builder is that it is a visual builder. One of the things that I personally like about it is it's very much likened to a whiteboard. So as I'm sitting down and talking to my team and we're whiteboarding and having a discussion about the types of campaigns we want to send, the types of interactions we want to create with our audience, and then we take that information and translate it into the tool, it makes it really easy. The other thing that this visual builder, the other benefit of a visual builder like this is the ability to see all of the different steps pretty quickly and easily. So if I inherited this campaign from somebody who may have worked here in the past, I'd be able to go in here and really quickly see that, okay, this campaign's sending a few emails, it's sending up some follow-up information after this meeting, things like that. So the way that the campaign builder works is you start by adding a segment. So in this case, we've added that nurture segment we just took a look at. You can pull in any segment that is published within this particular account to start your segment, to start your campaign. You can also start a campaign off of a form submission. So for example, let's say you had a free trial offer on your website. If somebody fills out the free trial form, maybe you want to put them immediately into a campaign that's confirmation that they have their free trial, some tips and tricks on how to get started, maybe a survey later on how the trial is going for them, those types of things. Something that's very specific to that campaign. You can start it from a form submission, but by and large what customers will do is they'll use this segmentation to start that campaign. So the next section here is a couple of actions have been sent. So an action in Mautic is really something that you want to execute that's related to that contact or those individuals in that segment. So you can do everything from changing scores, moving people in and out of campaigns, moving them in and out of segments, and you can also set communications here. So one of the unique things about Mautic is the ability to include multiple send messages through multiple channels within the same campaign. So you can send an email, a text message, a mobile push notification if you have a mobile app, a browser notification, as well as a tweet all through the same campaign. So it really allows you to create a more holistic experience or holistic campaign for your audience. So in this case, we've said, okay, we're going to set an action of send an email. When I click on this first email, the first thing you'll see is that you're able to change the name of this step. So we've said, okay, this is email 1. We're going to send the tips and tricks blog. We're going to have this action execute immediately. You can also set it to be a certain time period or relative time period, minutes, hours, days, months, years, at a specific day and time. So if you have a webinar coming up, let's say next Tuesday, and you wanted to send that final reminder on Monday, you could set it to that as well. In this case, though, we're going to keep it as immediately. Once you've selected that, you're going to go ahead and choose the email that you want to send. These are all the published emails in this particular account, so you would pick one of those, the right one for that particular step. For this campaign, we've said, okay, immediately, once somebody gets added to this nurture list, that's a dynamic list that we created in segments, they're immediately going to get this email. After 7 days, they're going to get this second email with the industry report that we have to offer them. 2 weeks after that, we're going to invite them to participate in a free consultation. And then from there, what we did is we said, okay, if they signed up for that free consultation, meaning they booked a meeting, we're actually going to add that as a filter here as the next level of this campaign. So a condition and a decision in Mautic are the ability to add filters within your campaign. The condition is a filter that's based off of some data value, things like a piece of information that you've mapped to a field in Mautic. So it could be their role, what industry they're from, how they might have answered a qualifying question. Yes, I'm using marketing automation, for example. Well, on the other hand, a decision is something that's based off of a behavior. So if somebody had visited a web page, opened an email, clicked on an email, those types of things. So we've said, did they book a meeting? For this particular example, we've actually mapped that book a meeting to a field in Mautic. So if they booked a meeting, if yes, which is what these green arrows mean, I'm going to go ahead and add 10 points to their score. I'm going to notify my internal coordinator with an email that they need to add this particular meeting to the calendar. I'm going to send a meeting confirmation directly to that contact, letting them know that we've received their request and they're confirmed for their meeting. And if they hadn't booked that meeting, which is what the red arrow means, I'm going to wait 3 days and I'm going to send them a follow-up email that's inviting them to take a look at this offer again and hopefully get them to convert on that second try. We've also added a decision in here that says the day before the meeting. If it's the day before the meeting, go ahead and send them a text message reminder about their meeting as well as an email reminder. And the day after the meeting, we're going to send them a survey. So within this campaign builder, you not only have the ability to set each of these steps, include both operational tasks as well as communications, multiple channel communications. You can apply these filters. You have the ability to use as many filters and as many branches as you want within this campaign. There are no limitations to, one, the number of campaigns you can create within the platform, as well as the number of branches within a single campaign. So you have the freedom to make this as sophisticated and personalized for your audience as you'd like, or keep it really simple. If you really just want to send a few emails within a couple of weeks, you could do that as well. You have the freedom to customize that experience however you want. The next section here is where you would build an email. So I'm going to go ahead and use this email as an example. The first thing that you're going to see here is that there are a number of templates within the Mautic platform. So right out of the gate, if you were to log in into a brand new account, you would see some of these templates available for you. These are standard templates that are available in every account. They are fully customizable in that you can change the logos, the headers, the content, the look and feel of the email. It really gives you a basic structure to work with that's responsive and mobile ready, that you can go ahead and put some information in and send an email pretty quickly. You also have the ability to create an email from a blank template. So if you wanted to just use the drag and drop functionality of Mautic, you can build your template or your email that way. You can use what's called code mode, in that you just copy and paste HTML into the code mode and send your email from there. By and large, though, what customers will do is they'll create their own custom theme. And so within the custom theme, and I'm going to show you this one, which is one we use for our marketing materials, within the custom theme, you have the ability to set not only the look and feel and the structure of the email, but you also have the ability to leave whichever elements you want open for the end user to edit or not edit. So you'll see here as I mouse over these different areas, the header, the subheader, the text on the button, all of these things have a purple box that appears. That tells me as a user that I can edit that section of this email, the body copy, so on and so forth. When I mouse over the logo, you'll notice that there's no purple box. That tells me that this piece is not editable to me as an end user. I would have to go back and update the core theme. So my designer, when he built this template, he said, okay, Katie, when you go and send emails, absolutely, you can change all of this content, all of the things, and make it relevant to that particular offer or that particular email for that day. But anything else that you want to change, if you wanted to change this background image or anything else, we're going to have to update the theme for that. So it really gives you the ability to have control over the pieces that you want as part of your templates. When I click on this particular box here, this body copy, over here to the right is that piece of information popped up. So this is the WYSIWYG editor that you can use to edit that copy. You'll notice over here that there is tokenization. So we use tokens to add or populate data based on that contact record. So if this email was sent to me, obviously it would say, hi, Katie. You can use any data field as a token that you want to. So it could be anything from those standard fields like first name, last name, to any custom field that you've collected information on. You can also switch over to code mode. So if you wanted to edit this copy in HTML code, you can as well. But I suspect that most of our users are using the WYSIWYG. It's a bit easier. The other great feature that's available within the email builder is this dynamic content feature. I just drag that feature or that slot over into my email. When I click on it, you'll notice over here there's a little bit different view. So what this does is it allows you to customize content based on filters. So we had tokens before where I just talked about how you can include somebody's first name. This actually takes that concept to another level. So it allows you to switch out entire sections of your content based on who the individual is that you're sending it to. So let's say, for example, I'm hosting a multi-city roadshow. We're going to be in San Francisco, we're going to be in Boston and London. So what I'm going to do is send the same email. It's the same content, the same speaker, same agenda. It really is just a different venue. So for anybody who's in Boston, I'm going to send them the details on the Boston venue. So I'm going to go ahead and select city. City equals Boston. And so anybody in my database whose city equals Boston, they're going to get this version of the email. For anybody in San Francisco, I'm going to go ahead and say city equals San Francisco. Anybody who is in our database whose city equals San Francisco, they're going to get this version of the email. And so you can add as many variations as you want to here. So I can even add the London one we just talked about. And if I had 10 cities, I can change it to 10 variations. There are no limits on the number of variations you can include. So again, what this allows you to do is just take that personalization and apply it to your communications, making sure that those messages are a little bit more targeted or tailored to your audience. The other thing worth noting on the dynamic content, what I'm showing here is really just the change in text on this particular email. You can use dynamic content to do things like change out imagery. So let's say on the background up here, my image was, the default image was this blue, but for Boston, I actually wanted it to be an image of the Zakim Bridge. And for the people in San Francisco, I wanted that image to be of the Golden Gate Bridge. You can add those different variations as well, not only for the content, but for imagery or other things that you would want to personalize in those emails. The next section here is landing pages. So within Mautic, the landing page builder looks pretty similar to the email builder. So you're going to see that there's, again, similar out-of-the-box themes that you can use that are fully customizable, you know, everything from imagery to logos to colors, things like that, giving you a starting point for building those landing pages. You can start with a blank template and drag and drop those different slots. You can start with code mode, copying and pasting HTML. But again, most of our customers do use their own custom theme. So I'm going to show you a theme that we've built, again, for our marketing materials here. If I click on the builder, as I mouse over different areas here, again, that purple box will appear, and that tells me as a user, I can edit those different sections. You'll also notice here to the left, there's a little bit of script, form equals number 7. On this particular landing page, there's a form embedded on the page. And so you can see here when I go to the live page that all of the form fields appear on that page. To add a form into a Mautic landing page, you would just go to Forms. We're going to look at form number 7, so ID number 7 right here. This is the one we just looked at on that landing page. And you'll see those same fields appear within this form builder, all the things we just saw. If you wanted to add a new field, you would just select the field type that you would want to include, and there's a lot of variety here. Once you've selected the field type, you would get to a box that looks like this, where you start to add some of those attributes of that field. So things like first name, where you want that, or I would say label, actually, this particular field, the label is first name, where you would want to map that information once it's collected, whether or not you want this field to be validated, meaning required, and if it is required and somebody tries to submit the button without putting the information in, you can have a message pop up like this is required. You can also apply things like auto-population as well as progressive profiling. So what this allows you to do is that when people come back to your website or your audience comes back to your website and they go to fill out a form and you already know who they are, you can have that form be pre-populated with the information they've provided you in the past, where they can just scan it, make sure everything looks accurate, and hit submit from there. Progressive profiling, on the other hand, is similar in that it will allow you to ask different questions for your return visitors. So if you already asked somebody first name, last name, email, maybe next time they come back you want to ask what their company name is, or maybe a second qualifying question or a third qualifying question. This will allow you to have those fields appear once you have already collected your preliminary information and you want to start to collect secondary or additional information after that. This progressive profiling and this functionality is available not only on forms that are embedded on a Mautic landing page, but any form that you have on your website. So if you're embedding a Mautic form on your website, you would be able to use that progressive profiling and auto-population there as well. There are a couple of other features that are available in Mautic that are worth noting. So for example, when I look at channels over here, and I had mentioned earlier that you can send communications through multiple channels in Mautic, you can see that there's things like emails, web notifications, tweets, text messages, mobile push notifications. There's also this section called focus items. Focus items are a way for you to use pop-up modals on your website or static modals on your website as well. So I'm going to go to a website that we've built as an example. If I click on focus and I scroll down, you'll see that that modal will pop up. So this is something that we built within the Mautic platform or within this Mautic account. You have the ability to customize this however you want to. So if this is something where you wanted to present your latest new offer, this awesome ebook, for example. If you wanted to promote a webinar, you can embed a form into a focus item. You can have it appear as you scroll down a page. You can have it display as an ad at the top of your page. All of these things are fully customizable within the focus item builder. So it really just gives you another way to engage your audience within your site. So you can see here, display a bar across the top, in the middle of the page, a notification in the corner, as well as a full page. You can use things like exit intent. So if somebody tries to leave a page, you can have this pop up. You can have it pop up for only return visitors. All of those different options. So it makes it really easy for you to, again, drive additional conversion points or promote, spotlight material on your site. This is available as part of the core platform. It's also not limited to Mautic pages. So you can use focus items on any CMS platform that you're using. So if you have a homegrown solution, WordPress, Sitecore, some other solution, you would be able to use those focus items regardless of which technology you've chosen. Another element that I think is worth noting is this idea of dynamic content. So I talked about dynamic content in emails a little bit earlier. This section of dynamic content is something that's available for your website. So if you wanted to present dynamic content on your site, you would be able to use that piece of functionality. So I'm going to hop over to the Mautic.com site for a second because I want to explain how it works. So within our site, we're actually using WordPress. And so within our WordPress site, we said in this slot, which is a section here on our site, we want to use dynamic content. Anybody who visits our site from certain countries in the world, they would see this free offer. If folks came from other regions of the world, they would actually see a different offer here. They wouldn't see the free version of Mautic. They would see our Mautic ebook. So what this really means for you as a user is you have the ability to carve out sections of your site to present custom information based on who you know in your audience or who you have in your database. It can be anything from, I know that Katie, you're a VP of marketing, so I want to give you a piece of content that's related to your role. Or it's, I know that you are from the financial services industry, so I'm going to give you or display the financial services success story that we have for you because it would be more relevant to your role in your organization. So within that Mautic platform or within our Mautic platform, you're able to use dynamic content on your website. And again, it doesn't matter what type of website you're using. It does support it's technology agnostic, so it doesn't have to be specific to one platform or another. You can use it within any CMS platform that you're using. The last section here I'm going to touch on is reports. So reports in Mautic do allow you to pull information about the data that you're collecting. So within the report builder, you can go ahead and select where you want the data to be pulled from. So it can be anything from asset downloads to emails, forms, campaigns, all of these different areas. Once you've selected the type of report or where you want to pull the report from, you would just select the columns that you would want to include in your report, which you see here. You can add a filter. Let's say I only wanted to look at emails from the last 30 days. You can apply that filter. You can include graphs on your report, and you can even schedule it to be sent to you every week. So for example, if for this report I wanted to look at the results every Monday morning before I meet with my team, I can have it sent to me on those dates. And so if I go ahead and click out of this report and I look at it again, you can see here that this is the results of the report that we just looked at. So again, this is a demo account, so there isn't a lot of data in here. These sent counts and things would be a lot higher in most cases, but it allows you to see all the emails that had gone out, a little bit of a chart. You can even click to the email to get more, to go and remind yourself exactly what it looked like. You can export this report into CSV or Excel. And again, these reports are available as part of the core platform and native to the platform, but we do have an open API so that if at any time you wanted to extract any of this information into an external resource to do your analytics or reporting, you could do that as well. So that concludes today's demonstration of Mautic. Thank you for taking a look and sticking with me for a few minutes here and learning a little bit more about what we do. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. We do have chat on the site, so if there's an immediate question and you want to have a quick chat with somebody, feel free to do that. Or if you fill out a form, we can schedule some time to connect with you and learn more about some of the challenges you're having and see if Mautic could be a good fit for you. Again, thanks for joining me today. Have a great day.